Volcano is the most what? Volcano? This is a place where flowers grow on trees, pink waterfalls, volcano. No, no, and no. This is the worst dump that is filled with many chemicals and toxic things. Why was it named like that? It's named after William Wolff, an entrepreneur in the late 1800s came up with a canal that would connect the Niagara River to Lake Ontario. He dug a small section of the canal before he ran out of the money, after which the project was abandoned. It's not clear at all. Please elaborate. In the 1920s, the abandoned canal was turned into a chemical waste dump by the Kruger Chemical Company, which disposed of over 21,000 tons of toxic chemicals over the next few decades. The resulting ecological catastrophe, which came to light in the late 1970s, leads to widespread health problems and the evacuation of more than 800 families from the area. Damn, it could have been better. The state and local residents could help. Yes, and it started just because of them. Put on my glasses and you will see the truth. Where I am and who are you? My name is Tyler. The Love Canal disaster had multiple contributing factors, but here are three significant causes. The first one, lack of government oversight, despite concern raised by residents about health issues and chemical odors. Local and state governments didn't take action until 1978. It was only after a group concerned citizens, led by Louis Gibbs, demanded government action that New York State Department of Health conducted a study and declared a state of emergency. The federal government eventually declared Wolf Canal a Superfund site, and the area was evacuated. They built homes and schools on the top of the toxic waste site without properly testing the soil for contamination. In the 1950s and 1960s, the land around Wolf Canal was sold to the Niagara Falls School Board and various developers. This led to exposure to toxic chemicals for the residents and students who lived and attended school at Wolf Canal. These factors combined to create a major environmental and public health catastrophe, which raised awareness about the dangers of toxic waste and the need for stricter regulations and oversight. If we talk about the consequences, there are many of them. There are also positive ones, resettlement, or negative ones, global damage to nature and human health. So the first one, forced resettlement. The state ignored the uprising of local residents on the technology canal. They were considered mothers of hysterics. After all, it was mostly women who protested. Decades later, in 1978, President Jimmy Carter declared a state of emergency and ordered the federal government to relocate 200 families that leaves 700 families that federal officials say aren't at announced risk. But that's not the case at all. After all, the rest of the families didn't stop rebelling. As the situation worsened, the state relocated the remaining family. As a result, about 800 families found a new home. And the next one, sustainable development of local residents or rather health problems. And those same residents of the Wolf Canal patent have reported a range of health problems, including birth defects, miscarriages, cancer, and other sickness. Many residents also suffered from chronic respiratory diseases, for example, skin rashes and other health problems associated with exposure to toxic chemical and the supply for resources, more specifically man-made resources. And the last one, the volcano disaster caused significant environmental damage to the surrounding area. The toxic chemicals dumped into the canal have polluted the soil and groundwater, and this pollution has persisted for decades. Moreover, about 200 types of chemicals, including gasoline, dioxins, and toluenoids, got into the soil and water. This pollution led to the depletion of natural resources themselves because it completely destroys nature and the life of that district has become a soilless desert. Did they use renewable energy at all? No, they used non-renewable oil, coal, natural gas. They're so stupid. They didn't even use a hydropower. It's not so easy at all.